What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Bryce Crawford podcast. I'm Bryce, and today's episode I'm really excited about. Guys, we recorded this episode, and I don't know what happened. It got the audio and the video got super screwed up, and it was great. It was not great. It was bad. But today's episode is called Life is Short. And this has gripped me for the past month and a half about the meaning of life, the purpose of life, what life looks like, why are we here kind of thing. I watched a TikTok video clip of, it was like an edited clip of a movie called All Dogs Go to Heaven. It was like an old Disney movie, and this video clip just rocked my world about how short life is. And so I'm just going to give some scriptures on it and just kind of an encouragement, because to some people it's a scary thing to think life is short. To other people, no one thinks about it, and then they maybe don't respect certain aspects of God or certain aspects of their life. So we're going to get into it. First Bible verse is Ecclesiastes 6, and it says, Ecclesiastes 6:12 says, "Life is short and meaningless, and it fades away like a shadow. Who knows what is best for us? Who knows what will happen after we're gone?" And Psalm 90 says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may present you a heart of wisdom." And I feel like actually, when we don't know that our days are numbered, that's when we take life for granted, and our heart is not a prepared heart of wisdom, but actually a heart of folly and foolishness. We're merely pilgrims on this planet. We're just pilgrims. We're passing through. Life is nothing but a vapor. And so in one moment we're here, and before you can snap your finger, we're gone, and the next generation has been born. And to think that life is about me, and to think that life and everything, and that I deserve this, and that I'm owed this, it baffles me to think that I think like that sometimes. The reason we sin sometimes is not because we didn't mean to. The reason we sin sometimes is because we don't realize that our days are numbered and that our life has purpose, and so we do what we want and abuse God's grace for our life. But if we can understand the weight and gravity that our days are numbered, life is short, so let me use my life to glorify God, then maybe we can just have this respect and fear of God to the point where our life begins to have purpose. Our life only becomes meaningless when it's not lived for Him. But if we're living for Him, then our life has purpose. And in order for our life to have purpose, we live for Him. And our pilgrimage in this lifetime is not just of meaninglessness, but our pilgrimage of this lifetime is us coming into earth, telling people the good news of the gospel of Jesus, and saying, you too can come with me to my final destination. That's what purpose is in this life. We were out evangelizing. If you guys watch the main channel, our street evangelism videos, we were evangelizing, and we were talking to a homeless man, and it was a great conversation, and it was super wholesome and respectful, but he just was not budging on Jesus. And not that we were trying to pitch anything to him, because Jesus isn't a pitch. Jesus isn't something that you sell to people. Jesus is the greatest gift anyone can receive, wrapped in a pretty bow, and you just say, hey, this gift's on the table, and you can open it or not. That's what it is with Jesus. But this guy was just not doing it with Jesus, and he looks at me, and he goes, Bryce, the doctors gave me a year to live because I have a heart condition, and I'm on month 7. My hourglass is ticking, and my time's almost up. And he goes, it's not that I don't want God. I'm very open to God, and I actually want Him to reveal Himself to me. And if He were to reveal Himself to me, I'd go all in for God. But my time is ticking, and my hourglass is almost out. And it just struck me, because I'm like, man, this homeless man even knows that his hour is ticking, and he's open. And so it kind of released this kind of, I guess, hidden fear inside of me of even people that know their hourglass is ticking are still open to the gospel. They still want God to be revealed to them. He goes, man, if God revealed Himself to me, dude, I'd be totally open. Totally open. It's like, man, what are we doing? Like, people are sick. People are dying, not just like physically sick, but spiritually sick. Like, when we talk about because of sin we deserve death, it's not just physical death, it's death separation from God. Like, people are sick and dying, and life is short. And when people are born into this world, because they're born into sin and pride, people's perspective of their life is everything is about me. Even if they say they don't feel that way, subconsciously our actions prove that we think life is about us. And we forget that time is ticking and that time is short. I bet, yesterday I felt like I was a freshman in high school. Sometimes I'll reflect on a memory or an aspect of my life, and I'll feel like it was just yesterday. And even though some days feel like they're slower than others, we can all agree on the same fact that life goes by faster. It feels like yesterday it was last year's Christmas. It was like the day after Christmas. I remember when I was a kid growing up, the day after Christmas, I was like, dang, I can't wait for next year so I can get more gifts. And then, oh, no, what would you think? It's already Thanksgiving. Like, it kept coming and coming and coming so fast. And finally, I understood that life is short. It's short. Life is short. It goes by just as quick as the snap of a finger. And we have the audacity to go about our life and sin and do as we please. And just my theory, but I just really believe that one of the main reasons we sin is because we don't understand the weight and the gravity that life is short. Because when we don't realize life is short, we don't realize that our life has purpose, and we don't realize how important our interactions are with people. This could be the last podcast I ever make. God forbid. My dinner tonight, I'm playing pickleball later tonight. And this could be my last time ever playing pickleball, God forbid. And it could be my last car ride somewhere. It could be my last conversation with Josh, God forbid, or another friend. But if I don't think about that, then yes, it's okay for me to leave my brother angry at sundown. Yeah, maybe I will harbor a little bit more bitterness or hatred towards someone. Or maybe I will go dabble in this sin because I have tomorrow to be forgiven for. Because when we don't realize life is short, then there's no preciousness and tenderness of the breath inside of our lungs. But there is preciousness inside the breath in your lungs. And not only that, but your life is as long as the breath in the air and the snap of my finger. And when you understand that life is short and you have purpose, then nobody around you becomes a statistic or someone that you mooch off of or someone that you get something from. But everyone has purpose, and everyone becomes someone that you want to love, someone you want to interact with, someone you want to show grace towards. I'm tired of living my life like it's my own. I'm tired of living my life like I get to control it, because I don't. Psalm 103 says, "As for man, his days are like grass. He flourishes like a flower of the field, for the wind passes over it, and it's gone, and its place knows it no more." You know, the freedom of like life being short too is that passage when Jesus says, "Does God not freely and effortlessly feed the birds of the air? Does God not beautifully clothe the lilies without like, he just naturally does it?" And knowing that life is short and that God cares about his children, the least of our worries should be tomorrow. The least of our worries should be this task or this task or this task. Maybe like the natural things that we worry about, like money, food, clothes. Because at the end of the day, it's not about that. And that's like a cliche thing to say. It's a really cliche thing to say. But our life is short. And I lived a lot of my life being angry at people. I lived a lot of my life harboring bitterness and grudges and hatred towards people because of the way that they treated me, because of things that they've done to me. But I realized that I actually don't deserve anything from anyone. No one owes me anything. Salvation costed something. It just didn't cost me anything. It costed Jesus' life, and because Jesus died and resurrected for me, I can live in him. My life has purpose, and every time I'm with someone, it could be my last interaction with him. And I lived way too much of my life being angry, harboring bitterness, having hatred, frustration, grudges at people. And that not only hurts you from within because you just hold it all in, but man, I would just hate for this to be my last conversation with someone just because I was angry at them, because I was frustrated at them, or because I misjudged them, you know? Our interactions matter. And our interactions with people could be the only gospel that they read is our life. And you know what's crazy is in 1 Peter 3, it says when we need to be prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks for the hope inside of us, when 1 Peter talks about making a defense for Christianity, he says do it with gentleness and respect. He says the way that you defend Christ, his character, and his deity is not outsmarting someone, not debating them, not claiming to be a Christian and being angry at them, not claiming to be a Christian and holding grudges against people, but defending Christ and his deity is doing it with gentleness and respect. Meaning that every conversation, every interaction we have can be filled with love, kindness, and pulling the gold out of someone and pulling someone higher and calling someone higher and saying there's more for you because this lifetime is short. It could be my last interaction with you, my last podcast with you, but God forbid this too could be your last podcast you listen to. God forbid this too could be the last car ride you're on listening to the podcast. God forbid this too could be your last this, your last that. And I'm tired of us living like we have all the time in the world because we don't. We don't. And you see the wickedness in the world. This isn't like an end time scare. I'm never going to come. You will never, ever see me go on a podcast or a video telling you God's coming back this day. God's doing this. No, we've always been in the end time since Jesus resurrected. We don't have time. We just don't have time. Did you know that Psalm says that the friendship of the Lord is for those who fear him? And by fearing God is actually having a reverence and respect for him. And if we know that our life is short and our days are numbered, our life becomes precious. Our life begins to have purpose. And because of the fear of the Lord and having reverence and respect for our life and the breath that he's put in our lungs, then maybe we'll just interact with a little bit of more love. Maybe when we're in a heated moment, instead of getting angry and frustrated, we'll bite into the fruit of patience in our life. The most profound thing I ever learned, I used to struggle with frustration. And I was chatting with someone, and they said, you know, the fruits of the Spirit aren't fruit that we pick off of a tree and take a bite of. When we get born again, the fruits of the Spirit are in our heart. The fruits of the Spirit isn't something that we reach up and grab when we need it. The fruits of the Spirit are within our heart because we've been born again. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control are all fruits that you are bearing on the tree of your heart, and you just have to reach in the depths of it and take a bite. You're not reaching out to the tree. The tree's within you. The fruit's within your heart. Sometimes we just got to look down and take a bite. And because life is short, man, maybe we'll be quick to patience, slow to speak, quick to listen, hear someone out, have grace towards someone, show a little bit more mercy here, because, man, I'm tired of living like we have all the time in the world. Jesus, I thank you for everyone watching and listening to this episode. God, I just pray that you'll instill a fresh fire in people. God, that the understanding that life is short will not be one of fear, but one of boldness, God. Just thank you. Thank you for life that you give us, and every day is just your grace and your mercy and your love for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to the podcast. If you like it, subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on Spotify and Apple. And if you like a clip, we probably posted the clip on our Instagram or YouTube Shorts account. Go check it out on our TikTok, Bryce Crawford Podcast. Everything Bryce Crawford Podcast. Love you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.